Well, after being hit by a stray bullet, Weslaco area state rep Armando Martinez is recovering, and he joins us right now on the Valley's Morning News and on Facebook Live. If you guys are out on the road and you want to take a look at that, uh, Representative Martinez, we hope you're doing very well. Can we get away with calling you Mondo Iron Man Martinez?
You sure can.
How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling a lot better. Just a bit of a headache, but a heck of a lot better. Great to be home.
We're glad you're doing fine. Can you walk us through what happened? What time was it? What were you doing right before it happened?
Right. So shortly before midnight, everybody was kind of gathered around midnight. We just kind of stepped out. All the kids were, popping their fireworks, having a great time. There was about 5 or 6 different families there with their kids. Everybody was just kind of talking and mingling. And stroke of midnight came around. The kids started lighting more of the fireworks, and I was kind of just standing there telling the kids to move over, make sure they didn't get burned, and so they wouldn't trample over each other. And my wife came over, gave me a kiss, and wished me a happy new year. And I just kind of stepped over to the side right after that, and felt like a sledgehammer hit me over the head, and just kind of bent down a little bit. Looked at my hand. I had some blood on my hand. My wife asked me what happened. I said I felt like something hit me. So we walked into the garage. I asked her to bring me some ice, and she took a look. And one of my cousins took a picture, and it looked like I had a hole, on the top of my head. And that very moment, I said, I thought to myself, I was hit by a bullet. So I asked her, we need to go to the ER. Let's go. So she drove me over to the ER, and they took a CT scan here at Knapp Medical Center. Did a great job, the staff and everybody. And it showed that I had a bullet impaled in my head. And you start thinking of a whole bunch of different things. Being a paramedic and a firefighter, you think about a bleed and additional things that can occur with a head injury. That moment, they said, you're going to need a neurosurgeon, and said, well, let's go to Valley Baptist, and we'll have Wesco Fire Department transport us by ground. That's exactly what they did. Wesco Fire came over and did an excellent job on the transport and getting over to Valley Baptist, the staff, and the doctors were just tremendous, did a great job. So my hat's off to all of them for this, and I'm here because of them and the power of God.
So you after you got hit and you're there and you're bleeding, you're grabbing your head, you're disoriented maybe. Was the bullet still lodged in your head?
Oh yes. The bullet went straight through the skull and was poking on the brain. So
it was poking on it. That sounds. Do you
right.
feel that when that happens?
I felt the pain. It's kind of like what I tell people is when you get a splinter and you stick it in your hand, and you feel the pain until you remove it. It's just that
It's like a
that
pressure.
pain in that area. Right. That's exactly how I felt. I mean, I just had the pain in that area. So I knew something was impaled because of that, and just a headache. That's pretty much what I felt, and I never lost consciousness. I never fell or anything. I was walking and didn't have any type of physical impairment. So, thank God that everything turned out well. When the doctors tell you you're very lucky, a little bit more, and we wouldn't be having a conversation right now. That's when it kind of opens your eyes and you start thinking of what could have happened and the good thing that it didn't.
Yeah, that was my next question. If everything was working fine after you got hit, but Weslaco area state rep Armando Martinez is joining us on the Valley's Morning News.
Yeah, Armando, Tim Sullivan here. Good morning to you, and glad we're having this conversation.
Yes, sir, Tim. Thank you so much.
Just a few days before the start of the legislative session, and you have already put out a notice that you're planning to propose a bill that would somehow deal with New Year's Eve gunfire?
Right, with celebratory gunfire. I think it's something that we're looking at. My staff is already on it, and we'll be having some of those discussions within the next few days. Just want to kind of rest a little bit and see what type of material they can get me so I could read over and take a look at it and see what's existing and, what we need to add on to make sure that, we don't just try to not allow this to occur again to somebody. I mean, you kind of think of everything that could have happened. We had two kids standing right behind me, my wife standing right next to me. There's several things that could have happened. One of the kids could have had this happen to them, and it would have been a much more tragic event and maybe fatal. So, we got to look at whatever's in statute right now and what we can change in regard to celebratory gunfire.
Yeah, so it would be specific, at least at this point, from what you're telling us, it would be specific to celebratory gunfire because there are already similar laws on the books dealing with, I guess, reckless or negligent gunfire?
Yes, sir. Correct. That is correct. What we have found is that I believe in Arizona there is an existing law. I want to say it's Shannon's Law. So we're going to take a look at that, and it deals with celebratory gunfire. So that's just something we got to look at and see how what we can make stronger here in Texas.
Representative, did you hear a lot of gunshots that night?
Right before midnight, we did hear some gunshots. Everybody was in the garage at that time. And right after it kind of calmed down, you don't hear it anymore. So we all walked out, and the kids wanted to pop their fireworks. So, you think you're safe. You never think it's going to happen to you. Fortunately, it happened in this manner and didn't hit one of the kids that were around there or anybody else. But, you think you're safe. And, you never know when it's going to happen. So
no, and that's a good point because there was another incident over the weekend. Didn't get as much publicity. I believe it happened in San Juan, where a family returned home to find a bullet hole in the ceiling of their child's bedroom that was just very near. If the baby had been in the crib of the home at that time in that bedroom, the bullet would have come very, very close from what they estimate. So it's just another incident of what you're talking about. What goes up must come down, and it doesn't often come down in very good places.
Correct.
Now, the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office is involved right now. What are they looking at? What do they have right now, and do they think they can find anybody?
Yeah, I tell you this, I don't know exactly how far their investigation has gone. I know they spoke with my wife. They were at the hospital. They've done a tremendous job, and the sheriff did call me a couple times and did speak to me, of course, to wish me well. And but to the extent I don't know where they're at right now. They did pick up the bullet after surgery, and they did take it with them, and they are investigating that. So I have not spoken to them to ask exactly where they're at with it, but I thank them for doing that. And you understand that whoever did it, it wasn't a target. They weren't doing it to hurt anybody, although it was reckless and negligent. And I think, we do have to have something in place for that. But
so if they find the guy, would you press charges?
I really don't know. I don't think that they intentionally did that, because that wasn't their deal to hurt anybody. They were it was celebratory gunfire, and so those are things that you have to take into account as well.
All right. So how are you feeling? Are you 100%? Do you have a plate in your head right now?
I have. There's a small plate that they did put in there, but other than that, I feel great. I do have a headache, but I am walking around and I'm feeling good. It's just good to be home. Thank God.
But so you're not like 100%, but you still feel pretty good.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Okay. So be honest. Did you eat the hospital food, or did you get the family to sneak something in?
I really wanted a Whataburger, to tell you.
I feel you. Thanks so much. We hope you feel better. We hope you have a speedy recovery, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your new year coming in. Best of luck to you. Weslaco Area State Rep Armando Martinez, recovering from a stray bullet. And thanks so much for joining us on News Talk 710 KURV.